Orioles baseball on Mass and brought to you by Southwest. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. And by American Standard Heating and Air. It's their all-star sales event up to $1,100 in instant rebates or 0% APR for 36 months. Another beautiful day here in Seattle. Gorgeous night for some baseball as the roof will be open. Caleb Joseph suffering the injury that put him on the DL. One that often gets snickered at when it happens, but it is serious. A testicular injury that kept him out for a couple of weeks. He is back with the Orioles now. We're going to talk about that injury, but when you talk to Caleb, you first have to talk about hockey.
Oh, man, growing up playing street hockey with my brother, we didn't have a team in Nashville for a while there, and then when they came, I had a good buddy whose dad had season tickets. He lived right down the street. He'd pick me up. We'd go to every game, and I feel like I go to 20 or 30 games a year since then. Love the sport, love everything about it. Sad day for my Predators. We traded away, our star captain Shea Weber to the Canadiens, so I'm not sure how I feel about it, but I'll be all right, I guess.
You've just followed ever since you were a kid then? I mean, that's been a sport you've latched onto.
Yeah, well, and there was this announcer named Gary Thorne that was announcing, on Sunday evenings, afternoons, I remember. It got me into it a lot. Yeah, I love the sport. It's a lot different than baseball. It's super fast-paced all the time. Baseball is fast-paced when the ball's in play, but something about the speed of the game and the hand-eye coordination, I really have a lot of respect for what they do.
Caleb, great to have you back, obviously. The injury you suffered, one that doesn't get talked about a lot. It is a serious injury, obviously, and I wanted to let you say whatever you wanted to about it.
Yeah, it was a tough 4 weeks there, especially the first week after my groin injury. We've seen 5 or 6 in the last month or so, and it's a super serious issue. There's a company that I'm working with right now called Nutshells, and they have a protective cup that is almost indestructible, and I'm wearing it right now and plan on using it in the game whenever I appear next for the Orioles. But these things are super protective, and nobody wants to go through what we went through. And just talking to Yan Gomes with the Cleveland Indians, he's the catcher that got hit. He's wearing one now. Wieters is wearing one. I'd like to just encourage anybody that's at home that has a younger kid or even a high school kid to look into it, because these are serious injuries that can affect your future for sure.
What makes this a better protector for you than what you had before?
Yeah, this thing is made out of Kevlar, and that's bulletproof material. There is a video on their website where the owner actually was shot with a bullet wearing it, and it did not penetrate the cup. And so if it's good enough for a bullet, it's got to be good enough for a fastball. A lot of these cups nowadays, they're made for comfort. I know a lot of the older cups, going back in like Cal's day, they were steel. This cup is made out of Kevlar. It's a little bit heavier, but the comfort-wise is 100% there. And once you've worn it for 2 or 3 days, you can't tell a difference in the weight at all. So it's definitely worth looking into.
In your situation, back 100%?
Yes. I was worried about how I would feel the first couple of days, not catching for a month. You have that thought in the back of your mind, maybe this is going to be a kind of a pre-spring training deal where you get to spring training and feel like starting all over again. But I was able to do a lot of work down in Bowie and Frederick, getting my legs back under me, and I felt really strong those 3 games there and feel really good and hope to contribute sometime soon here for the Orioles.
Caleb, we really appreciate it. Thanks for talking about it, and go Preds.
Yep, go Preds.
Go Orioles. What did he say yesterday? He says, I'm still looking for my first RBIs after being 4th on the team last year.
Let's take a look at our BGE home game time temperature. It is 74 degrees. BGE Home is Baltimore's home team for heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical. Why would you call anyone else? Southwest Airlines brings you the lineup. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. Jones, Scope, Machado, Davis, Trumbo, and Wieters. Hardy, Kim, and Rickard. Scope last 4. 8 for 17.
And Wade LeBlanc, tell you what, he's not a hard thrower. He's, as his pitching coach Mel Stottlemyre said, he's a pitch maker. And boy, they get him out of the AAA affiliate for the Jays. He's 7-2 with a low ERA, 172. Doesn't throw hard, maybe 87, 88, coming off his first Major League start since 2014. And boy, was it a good one against the Cardinals. 6 innings pitched, 3 hits, but he's gonna finesse his way, at least hopefully, through this lineup, and that's not always easy.
Nope. 1-0 delivery on the way. Adam Jones will take it outside. Adam has extended his hit streak to 11 games. Coming in, 267 up to the 50, that magic 50 RBI mark before the All-Star break. and he's going to be robbed. Seager up and hauls it in at third base.
Well, that's part of pitching to contact. Sometimes you get lucky, and that's pretty much what it is. You know, Adam, red hot, hit 11 home runs in June. Yeah, June's over, but your approach isn't. Look for your pitch, and when you get it, hit it hard. But that's why they put guys out there with gloves.
Great reaction, and robbed him of what looked like it was going to be a base hit. Sure hit it hard enough, and he wants to know how far he came off the ground. He wants Marte to tell him. Recognize his jumping ability. Here's Jonathan Schoop.
Well, not as much as his big brother we're going to see, who's 6'4", down in L.A. playing for the Dodgers, Corey Seager.
Jonathan Schoop, 11-game hit streak ended in the ball game last night. Will foul it away. And as Buck Showalter has been doing against the left-handers, Jonathan Schoop is up in the lineup, as he is tonight, batting second. And when it's a right-hander on the mound, is generally down in that 6-7 spot. And that's occurring now on a regular basis. LeBlanc's delivery, and that will be in the dirt.
Yeah, take a look at their defense. Played well last night. Smith, who made a great running catch in the 7th. Martin playing a couple one off the wall to keep Manny Machado from getting a double. Cruz and right, Seager, Marte, and then right around the infield.
Foul back into the second deck.
Iannetta again catching for the second straight night. And lead down at first.
Schoop's hitting .284 off the lefties, .302 off right-handers. Really good numbers. He's had 13 home runs, 3 off lefties, and he'll go down to K-Root.
Yeah, when you get to 2 strikes, and I'm not even sure it has to be 2 strikes, he's going to throw all his pitches at any time. You know, his catcher, Chris Iannetta, he actually faced him when he was playing for Colorado, and he said, boy, he gave me problems because the ability to change speeds, and you just saw it there.
For LeBlanc, this is his second career start against the Orioles. June 18, 2010, when he was with San Diego. He gave up 1 run, 7 hits, 6 2/3 innings. And that's the only time the Orioles have faced him, and that was really a different ball club. He'll catch the outside corner with it. Manny Machado has a 10-game hit streak coming in. Kept his streak alive late in the ball game last night. There are the numbers during the streak. They are stupendous. Sometimes you get batting streaks can be 6, 7, 8 games, and you've had 6, 7, 8 hits in 4 times to the plate each game. But these streaks the Orioles have been putting up lately have been streaks with a big average. Shattered bat, splintered on the end of it. Take a look at our Coons.com league leaderboard.
Yeah, well, those are pretty impressive numbers. Right behind him, Ortiz, Altuve, with what, over 400 in the month of June. Cano was playing second base, and then the Orioles' Mark Trumbo again had a great June.
Brought to you by Coons.com. Over 2 million vehicles sold and counting. So Manny will get some new lumber and make his way back up among the leaders in the American League. All kinds of categories. 4th in hitting. Manny picking up runs, lots of them. He and Chris Davis have been the leaders in that department for the Orioles. That'll fall foul as Lee gave chase to it. And a 1-ball, 2-strike count on Manny Machado. Manny is 3rd in hits now behind Altuve with 111 and that Bogarts number of 110. You get a lot of league leaders in this ball game, with Seattle also having the numbers with Cruz and Cano in particular up among the leaders in a lot of categories. 1-ball, 2-strike count. Straight up D against Manny, and the pitch is right there, and he knew it. Drops the bat and the helmet, heads out to get his glove. A 1-2-3 inning for the left-hander. When we come back, Gausman to the mound. San Diego, saw 2 games, came here to see 2. That's a pretty good trip. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for Seattle. They've got Martin, Smith, and Cano, Cruz, Seager, and Lee, Lind, Ionetta, and Marte. Cano, he's got a 7-game hit streak coming in, his 2 with big numbers.
And Kevin Gausman trying to win his 2nd in a row. Beat Tampa Bay, 7+ shutout innings, so you can see a lot of fastballs. Why not? Power arm, former #1 draft choice out of LSU. There are the numbers. Low ERA, doesn't get a lot of run support. Fastball probably obviously his best pitch. You can see righties hit him better than lefties. Splitter, which is kind of a split changeup, 2nd best pitch, and then the breaking ball down the list. Trying to win on the road for the first time in 20 starts. It's just an amazing. The combination last year he didn't pitch well. This year they don't support him well.
Those road games, 2.35 runs averaged for him in those 19 road games. Leonys Martin will lead it off, and he will take it for a strike. He had a 1 for 5 in the ball game last night. For Kevin Gausman, 0-1 against Seattle, 2 career starts, good ERA, 2.63 in those games against Seattle. Martin watches that one go by. After finally getting a win, we'll see if Gausman can stay on that track. 1-1 delivery on the way. Martin gets a hold of it up in the air down the line right field, heading over to the seats, and that's where it will end up as a souvenir.
Yeah, Martin, he was part of the 3-run 5th inning when he slapped one into left field with 1 out. And Chris Tillman had good stuff last night. Command not where he wanted. They had a couple of key outs. Seager's 2 out hit in the 1st. Terrific at bat against Tillman.
And the pitch is going to miss down low. Martin was the leading hitter in the leadoff spot for average coming into the game last night. Ichiro passed him last night, not by much though. 2-2 delivery on the way, and that one looped off the end of the bat. Manny Machado. And he's got it. Martin retired.
Well, take a look at the defense. Big ballpark here, especially up to the alleys. Kim Jones and Rickard. Machado, Hardy, Scope, and Davis. Matt Wieters, 2nd straight night. Thought with a lefty that maybe we would see Caleb Joseph after coming off the DL, but not to be. It's not early.
No, Buck Showalter decided tonight with the left hand of LeBlanc on the mound, because he's a reverse pitcher, and being the left-handers actually have a much better average than right-handers against him, that he'd go with what is in essence a lineup for a right-handed pitcher. There is Caleb. Will be in one of these 4 games certainly. Here is Smith. Shift on. Breaking ball is in there for a strike. Seth Smith had a 1 for 4, picking up a home run and an RBI in the ball game. He got the home run in the 5th. Couple of RBIs off the homer. He is 0 for 3 lifetime off Kevin Gausman. And the pitch taken away for a ball.
Yeah, he had a good night. I mean, obviously the 2-run home run tripled their lead. They were up 1-0, made it 3-0, and then they would add a couple more runs. But the other thing, how about the catch in the 7th inning? Because the Orioles had a lot of opportunities against the back end of the bullpen to come back. He made a terrific.
He got that one way back in right field, and goodbye. Home run off the scoreboard on the 2nd deck facade.
Yeah, it's so interesting to me. I mean, you got a finesse lefty and you got a guy with one of the better arms in the major leagues. But again, if you pitch down in the zone to a lot of lefties that are good fastball hitters, and that's what I've always felt Seth Smith is. And check this out. Look where the glove is. And look where the ball is. I mean, it's right to the glove. Boy, a lot. The short porch is down the right field line here at Safeco, and of course he would have reached it in any ballpark. Yeah. The ball was smoked.
So his 2nd home run in as many days, number 8 on the year for Smith. Only the 3rd home run hit by a left-hander off Kevin Gausman, the 13th that Gausman has surrendered this year. And Seattle takes the early 1-0 lead. They've got 115 home runs as a team. They are 3rd in the majors in home runs. The Orioles leading everybody with 125, but only 10 behind the Seattle Mariner team. And Scott Servais got a ball club that can pop it, and they've been doing that all year. Robinson Cano, 7-game hit streak, continued it with a 2-for-3 in the ball game last night. Yet again, Cano having another strong season against the Orioles. 6 for 15 this year against the O's. Now carries a .336 lifetime batting average against Baltimore pitching. And he's 5 for 9 lifetime off Gausman. 2-0 pitch on the way. Cano down the line the other way, foul.
Yeah, I think when you face good hitters, and Cano certainly, I mean, lifetime 300 hitter, you know, a guy that can hit home runs with the best of them, especially this year. 21 last year, he's almost got as many as he hit all last season. Hit 15 in the second half after a slow start. You make a choice. With fastball command, hey, I'll give him a hit, but it's going to be a single to the opposite field.
2-1 delivery to him, foul back.
And that's the way I look at Seth Smith. Do you want him pulling the ball, or do you want him to hit the ball the opposite way? And when you try to come in and you have a good fastball hitter and you don't get in, you saw the result.
There he is, home run number 8. It left at 420, 107 off the bat.
And a hurry. Average is 77.
2 ball, 2 strike delivery on the way. Cano will take it. Cano looking for a magic hit number. His next hit, he will become just the 5th Mariner to record 100 hits, 50 runs, and 50 RBIs prior to the All-Star break. All he needs is that one more hit to do it. Ken Griffey Jr., Edgar Martinez, A-Rod, and Brett Boone are the others who in M's history have reached that mark. And that'll go to second base, gobbled up by Jonathan Schoop. And Cano is retired. Talking about those road numbers, Jim.
Yeah, well, let's see again. You know, so 0 for 10 in his last 19 road starts. High ERA. This last year he was 1-6 with a deep 6. They don't score a lot of runs for him. And then you go back to going all the way back into history. Scott Ellerton, 29 games, 0-14, and then give you an idea of how many runs they do score. If you pitch for the Orioles, you get 5.27. He gets 3.21. And that's why, and you can see, as you alluded to, Gary, on the road it gets worse. 2.35 runs.
Amazing. Pitch will be taken down low on his birthday. Nelson Cruz. Nelson celebrated a little early. He went 2 for 2 in the ball game last night.
Well, how about celebrating with a triple?
Yeah. Well, he didn't get a triple though. That was the sad part. They took it away from him. They give us gifts and taketh back.
Well, I think he's played, what, 11 years, and he's got 14. Well, I thought he had 14 triples.
I
really
did too.
Only 13.
Yeah. He won't mind, though. He played a big part, as he usually does, in the ball game last night. A couple of doubles, hit by a pitch and a walk. 4 times up, 4 times on. 1-2 delivery on the way, and he'll take that Gausman delivery outside 2-2.
Yeah, I had a chance to pitch with Mike Cuellar, who won 139 games for the Orioles in 7 years. He had a triple in Detroit. And he just kept running, and they threw the ball away. And he passed away, but he still said, "I had an inside the park home run. I don't care what they called it." So Cruz said, "Yeah, my first triple of the year. Got to third base. That's all that matters."
2 ball, 2 strike count on him. Actually, 2 birthdays today. Mike Montgomery is also celebrating a birthday for Seattle. Cruz 36, Montgomery 27. 2 ball, 2 strike count with 2 down. And we'll swing through that one. So Gausman will get the strikeout, but Seattle will get the run. Smith delivers the homer. 1 run, 1 hit, no errors, nobody left on base. And after 1, the Seattle Mariners up. To the game, Reginald Montgomery from Highlandtown, 500 for being selected, 500 more for every Orioles home run hit tonight. Play Home Run Rich's scratch-offs, win up to $50,000 or enter non-winning tickets for a chance to be the contestant of the game. Go to mdlottery.com/baseball. Good luck, Reginald. Orioles got one in the ball game last night, of course, setting the new mark in home runs for June. But not enough. A 5-3 win, Seattle last night. Walker over Tillman. Tillman now 10-2, had his streak broken of 12 games without 12 decisions without a loss. Big shift put on against Chris Davis, who had a 1-for-4 in the ball game last night. The lefty gets the ground ball. That'll be foul.
Yeah, so LeBlanc comes out of the Jays organization at AAA, and I know it's AAA where you're 7-2 with a 1.72 ERA, and you're thinking, boy, wouldn't they maybe like to keep him? But I didn't read anything about it, Gary, but I wonder if he had one of those opt-outs where, maybe July 1st they had to bring him up. He was dealing down there.
He's left-handed.
Yeah.
Need any more be said. He's left-handed and can get the ball to the plate. That pretty much secures you a job. There's the numbers for Chris. Home run's the big difference. 1-2 delivery on the way. That'll miss inside. He played in Japan in 2015. LeBlanc did, and went 2-5, 4.23 ERA. 2-2 pitch, and that one's going to go in the dirt.
Yeah, I thought his comments were pretty succinct as far as what pitching's about, especially when you're 31 and you've had a little bit of success in the big leagues. He said, I found out who I wasn't, and then I found out who I am. And that is that he's not going to throw ball by guys at this point in his career.
He's a 7-year major league veteran. That goes in the air to left center field. It'll be chased back. Martin at the wall. Martin up. And goodbye home run. Just made it into the first row, and Chris Davis delivers the long ball, and this ball game is tied.
Yeah, so a couple of home runs, and this kind of gives you an idea how big this ballpark is when you hit it there. Now, the power alleys down the right field line, down the left field line, they have shortened it. They even actually brought it in a little bit here, but he hits the big fly, and you're thinking, boy, is Martin going to be able to grab it like he did off the bat at Trumbo last night? Home run number 20. And July starts with a bang for Chris Davis.
Chris ties the ball game up on the first hit for the Orioles. Here's Mark Trumbo. He drives one to left field, but that one's off the end of the bat. In fact, may have broken it. Smith is there and puts it away. Trumbo out.
This is how you lead the American League 2 out of the last 3 years in home runs. Up and out over the plate. That's his strength. Watch the uppercut swing. And then again, it's almost like he put his head down thinking he kind of got under it. But when Chris Davis hits him, they carry a lot different than a lot of other hitters.
Martin was in the wrong place to make that catch. That ball just barely made it over. Kind of bounced off the top of that cushion out there. Here's Matt Wieters, and Matt will take the pitch down low. So LeBlanc proving to be true in the home run department, as it's the left-hander who gets it. 0-1 pitch on the way, and Wieters will take the pitch inside. Chris Davis, 4th in the American League now in home runs with 20, and he has had 4 home runs in the last 6 games. So he's delivering the long ball again. And a 2-ball 1-strike count on Matt Wieters. Orioles switch hitting catcher. Having a chance here to bat right-handed, where the numbers have been severely off from last year.
Yeah, that's why I thought Caleb. You can be a reverse split guy, but a lot of times you play lefties against lefties.
Yep.
But looked like Caleb got some at bats because of the injury. Actually hitting well. I know it's the minors. And again, Buck makes out the lineup, and Wieters is capable of hitting from the side.
Hitting only 151 with 1 home run, 5 RBIs, batting right-handed. Much better with that .319 average left-handed and 8 home runs.
Well, just think about the dynamics of being the switch hitter. You got to work on your stroke, which are different. Figure out.
Got him at the knees.
Yeah, nice pitch inside corner. Ioannidis, he's an awfully good receiver. You can just see him, puts the glove down there. All the good catchers can do that. They're always bringing the ball back towards the strike zone. Yeah, I thought it might have been down or maybe in.
And looking over.
Well, Mike Malinsky, he's got rabbit ears. He can hear him.
Yep. Mike Winters, Marty Foster, Gabe Morales, the umpiring crew. Mike Winters is the crew chief. Here's J.J. Hardy. J.J. had an 0 for 3 in the ball game last night. J.J. pumps one up in the air, and that's going to go towards the warning track. Martin, though, is there and puts it away. The Orioles, though, get a run on a hit. No errors, nobody left. Chris Davis leading the inning off. This is his 20th home run of the season, and for Davis, he now has hit 8 here at Safeco Field in his career. Old one to look forward to Miller time later in our ball game, brought to you by Miller Lite. Chris Davis delivering the long ball for the Orioles, now leading the majors as a team with 126 home runs, and they are equalizing their number between home and road. A long road trip here in which they have the opportunity to do that. It hasn't really mattered for the Orioles this year as to where they've played.
Yeah, more home games, so the totals are higher.
Kevin Gausman with the ball game tied up as Seager, Lee, and Lynn. Seager's got a 3-game hit streak with a 1 for 2 that he picked up in the ball game last night. He's gone 5 for his last 10 and has homered in back-to-back games for the 14th time in his career. Breaking ball will miss, and Gausman will fall behind 2-0.
Yeah, they really, we get all these notes. 156 of their RBIs with 2 outs, and only the Red Sox better, and that's what he did yesterday in the first inning. A couple of walks by Tillman, really good pitch down and away, and he served it in left field. And as a pitcher, that breaks your heart because you make a good pitch and you don't get the good result. And that's what you talked about right there, heating up.
Leadoff batters have bothered Gausman all year. Leadoff in an inning hitting .329 against him. It's one of the reasons why Kevin's retired only 63% of leadoff batters. You want that up to around 70. The irony of it is he has been much better against opponent hitters when somebody's on base and he's working out of the stretch than when he's in the full windup. Hitters are .293 when nobody's on base, and it drops all the way down to .223 when he goes to the stretch.
I mean, his runner in scoring position number is extremely low, 226. League average is what, about 256, I believe, somewhere in that range.
Got a couple of pitchers whose numbers are backwards as far as lefty righties are concerned. 2-2 delivery. Gausman, the lefty's hitting only .228, and the right-handers .287, and the right-handers have all the home runs as they have picked up 10 of the 13.
Yeah, and he can throw anywhere from 93 to 99. And it's an easy 97. Chaz Rowe, who finally back in the big leagues, pitching very well at AAA Norfolk.
Little chopper and Seager working him.
Well, we saw what Lee had 2 10-pitch at bats last night. Their first baseman, and sometimes DHs. Just amazed that they don't put those balls in play because those are really quality pitches. That's a great splitter.
See where he's working in. 8th pitch of the at bat coming. 2-2 delivery. Make it 9. Foul that one back too. So Seager, leadoff batter. Teams love seeing this happen any inning where you get a leadoff guy up, works a pitcher deep. It's to the benefit of all the hitters that will come after him. 2-2 delivery on the way, and that'll be 3-2. The Orioles come into this game in first place. They have a 5-game lead over the Red Sox. Toronto, because of their loss today in that unbelievable 19-inning game against Cleveland, they are 6 games out at the moment, pending the outcome of this ball game. 3-ball, 2-strike delivery, and Gausman will get the K.
Another great splitter. Unbelievable right here. You're not looking for a strikeout, but you make a quality pitch. Sometimes you get it. Can't throw it any better than that. Just took a while for him to swing and miss.
So Kevin gets his second strikeout. That'll bring Daho Lee to the plate. First baseman. He had a 1-for-4 in the ball game last night. Seattle now a game above 500, 40-39, but 10.5 behind Texas. And he's going to start it out with a base hit. Don't see a lot of hitters who flip their bat on singles, and he didn't. It ended up quarter of the way down the third baseline, though. He just lets the bat go after he gets a base hit. Well, on Friday, the Orioles return home to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the team's first World Series. They'll welcome back the 66 team to include Brooksy, Boog Powell, and of course Jim. And they'll take part in special pregame ceremonies. All fans are going to get the 66 World Champion T-shirt. Fireworks after the game presented by Mid-State Community Bank. That's Friday. And the Orioles come back home.
I think Boog and Vic Rosnowski are going to have a home run hitting contest. That's what I heard. I may be wrong about that.
Good. I like that. Here's Adam Lind.
Well, I tell you what, years ago we had Boog up in the booth, and I think John Lowenstein or Mel Proctor says, "Hey, Boog, you think you can still play?" He goes, "You always think you can still play."
True.
But now lately, Boog's real good at barbecues.
Reality. 0-1 delivery. That's going to be inside. Couple of hits on the board for Seattle. Lynn, the DH, the only one in the lineup last night who did not have a hit. He ended up with an 0-for-4. Seattle had 9 hits in the ball game. 1 ball, 1 strike count. Orioles double play depth. No breeze here at the ballpark. Roof open. Sunset time and a big swing.
Yeah, he's thinking drive the ball, and that's really what he does. He brings to the table. They brought in, they got rid of about 24 guys, brought in 20 new players. Adam Lind was one of them, because against right-handed pitching at the end of the season, he'll probably hit 20+ home runs.
Lind will stand back in. Lee at first base, not a base stealer, so Davis playing a couple of steps off the bag with a lefty up in order to get to his right a little bit quicker. 1-2 delivery on the way, and that's fouled off the end of the bat. Buck Showalter, I thought, had a great line about the other night. Not necessarily this situation, but he's never going to have that first baseman or third baseman playing close to the line in any situation. He says, "Why do you want a defense against a foul ball?" I thought that was pretty good.
Well, I think whether it's the first or the 9th inning, you ought to play where you think they're going to hit it.
Yeah.
And just because you have a 1-run lead, you should play the line when you haven't played it for the first 8 innings.
Right.
Never made sense to me.
Nope. 1-2 delivery on the way. That one off the end of the bat as well. Will be fouled back into the seat.
I mean, it's almost like it's a cover your rear end type of move, and I just never understood it. And you know, and if you're a starting pitcher and you used to pitch in the 9th inning, and they want to guard the line, you'd go, wait a minute. So I have a 1-run lead. We're going to give up the 4-hopper into left field or right field. The next guy's going to hit a home run. I'm going to lose. That doesn't make sense to me.
That doesn't make sense to Buck either, so he doesn't do it. You won't see the Orioles guarding the line no matter what the score or what the inning. 1-2, Lee off first base. Pitch on the way. Gausman got it in. That'll go to left. Kim over. And he's gone. 2 down.
Yeah, you know, I was talking to actually Lee's interpreter and Kim's interpreter, and you know, the word I got was that young Soo Kim was one of the hardest workers, and I think we've seen that when he played in Korea. That was his reputation. Yeah, he could hit over 300, and yeah, he could hit 28 home runs, but work ethic was paramount, and I think we've seen that. He's turned himself into a pretty good left fielder.
Yes.
I mean, he scurries after. I mean, every catch, every hit is exciting because just imagine coming. I mean, it's the highest level, and you got to prove yourself. And he's done a nice job of that in all facets.
Yep. 2 down. Chris Iannetta, the catcher, 1 for 4 last night. Well, Buck was saying before the game today, when he was being asked about Kim and his defensive play, he said the worst time to judge defensive play of anybody is in Florida. He said we saw Kim struggle a bit, but he said you got sun, you got wind. And then to add to that, in Kim's case, you got a new ball club, a whole new society, a whole new group of players. Everything was new. And he said you just can't judge players playing defense in Florida because there are so many things that affect it that won't affect it when they start playing regular season games. And he said Kim's adjusted and said, as far as I'm concerned, he can get the job done in the outfield. Runner off first base, the 0-2 delivery. You saw what you saw there with the decks the way they are. It protects against wind, which you don't get anything like in Florida anyway, and it's a whole different view. You get a different perspective on the game when you're playing in this kind of ball.
And the ball carries and moves differently. Yeah. I mean, Sarasota every day it seems like it blows to left field.
And it does. Yeah. Hard. 1-2 count. That one rifled to right field. It's going to stay up though. Joey Rickard right there to put it away. No runs on 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left on base. When we come back, Kim will lead it off. In our notebook, you know, streaking is not easy. Well, that kind too. The Indians won their 14th straight game today, 19 innings, and I'm sure probably most of you have heard all about that. But take a look at how tough it is to put up win streaks in the majors. 3 franchises who have had 20-plus win streaks. 3. This is forever now. 11 franchises, 15-game win streaks. 9 have never won 13 in a row. The Orioles, 14 straight 3 times. That's the Orioles high, 14. I mean, that's pretty amazing. For over 100 years of baseball, that's how hard it is to put streaks together.
I hope the PS on that is that, because I was on that 70 and 73 team, is that I wasn't the guy that stopped it.
Now, you were the one that started.
Well, I know that. Yeah, but I got to also stop them. It's a lot of wins.
Yeah. Young-Soo Kim, and he will take the pitch for a strike. That streak by the Indians now at 14 games is the longest they've ever had. They had 3 streaks in their franchise history of 13, but never 14 until today. Foul back for Kim. Not just hits, but the long ball coming.
Yeah, home runs in back-to-back games, and one in San Diego last night off the Taijuan Walker. The run he gave up, I told him he set him up. He swung through a 95-mile-per-hour, took him deep on the next pitch, and he started laughing at me. Of course, that was right after I told him that I told Lee that you told Lee that you had more power than him, and Lee gave me the real look.
You got the
course,
little scant look there.
Yes, of course you do it through the interpreters. But no, I do think that Kim, he understands English pretty well.
Yes.
He understands home runs. But this is only his 5th at bat against the lefty.
So given the chance with the numbers in reverse by LeBlanc. 2 ball, 2 strike count. 5-game hit streak, as you saw, for Young-Soo Kim. And a little long on the weight here. He'll back out.
Yeah, Chris Iannetta is going through every sign, and he didn't like any of them.
Got the one he wants, 2-2. And Kim will take it. Pretty close. I looked at the career numbers for LeBlanc. The numbers lifetime. Left-handers hit 317. Right-handers hit 259. A lot more home runs have been hit by right-handers than lefties. 41-19. That one is swung on and fouled off the other way.
Well, probably a lot of it more at bats too. And I just still remember when Kenny Holtzman, who's a terrific pitcher, won 20 games for Oakland, pitched for us for a short time. Tommy John, Boog hit him well. A lot of times you play the right-handers and before ground balls to shortstop.
Kim grounds that one to second base. Turned over on that one. Cano will make the play on him, and Kim is retired. 2 of the best second basemen in the game you're getting to see in this series, with Cano and Jonathan Schoop. As I've said before, I'm not sure I've seen anyone make the throw Cano can make going towards left field back to first on a ground ball than Jonathan Schoop. The 2 of them are as good as any I've ever seen on that play, and we've seen Jonathan do it a number of times. Joey Rickard batting 9th. That's down the line. That's going to be a base hit. Seager was playing in because of his speed. Ball's going to go up against the wall down there, and it'll be a double. So Rickard, a 1-out double here in the 3rd. The Orioles' second hit.
Well, that's a combination of early on saying, hey, you need to at least make them think you can bunt, so you will play here. And then you're a good fastball hitter, so stop taking so many pitches. Something he did when he led off. He's no longer doing that. And if you get your fastball, because he probably hits the fastball as well as anybody on this club, don't miss it, and he didn't.
So the Orioles in a 1-1 ball game that the potential go-ahead run on at second base. Orioles ended up 2 for 3 in the ball game last night in scoring opportunities. Here is Adam Jones. Adam lined out hard to Seager at third base. He took away a extra base hit. In all likelihood, it would have rolled into the corner. Seager grabbed it, and it was really hit hard. Pitch will be taken for a strike. Among the Orioles in the month of June are deep inside the numbers.
Well, that's how you average when you have those type of guys doing what they did. 6.6 runs a game.
0-1. LeBlanc's delivery to him. That one in the air to left field, not hit hard. Smith will come over. He's got it. 2 down. Next Saturday, it's Manny Magic at Birdland. All fans at the afternoon game against the Angels get the Manny Machado Garden Gnome. Note the start time, that's 4:05. You can use hashtag Manny Magic on social media. And for tickets, go to Orioles.com. 2 down. That'll bring up Jonathan Schoop as Manny will grab the bat and head out to the on-deck circle. Jonathan, a strikeout victim, his first time up. That ball's going to land for a base hit left center field. Rickard had a great lead, and he'll score easily. So Schoop delivers a 2-out RBI, and the Orioles take a 2-1 lead.
Yeah, you know, I tell you what, you talk to Scott Coolbaugh, and you could see him right there giving Rickard the high five. Sometimes you just have to, till you get the 2 strikes, look in. They try to come in, and he's there. He's waiting. But again, he doesn't smoke it. Probably breaks the bat on it because he hits it up towards the trademark, but he's looking for it. He gets it. And that is Jonathan's Schoop over the last couple of months.
47th RBI for him. Our Mercedes Pitch Tracks presented by Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing. So a 2-out RBI for the O's. And a big swing and a miss on the turnover pitch. Manny Machado, a strikeout victim, is first time up. The Orioles have 2 runs on 3 hits. Remember, for LeBlanc, who's taken Nathan Karn's place. Karn was pulled out of the rotation. He's now working out of the bullpen. Made his first appearance 2 nights ago out of the pen. LeBlanc gets the starting role. 1 game against the Cardinals. No runs, 3 hits over 6 innings in a ball game where he got the win.
And then Carnes comes in and pitches two innings and strikes out all 6 batters. So
Yep.
they exchange places, or at least they bring up LeBlanc out of the Blue Jay organization, and they get sudden success.
0-2 the count. And a little lob toss will be made over. Not going anywhere.
No. But he looks fast.
Yep. Orioles actually broke a streak on the home run by Davis in the 2nd inning. LeBlanc had gone 24 2/3 innings without giving up a run in the majors. Now, the thing about that is you got a whole year in Japan in between. And that'll be right off the end of the bat. Look at the spin on that thing. Cano finds it. And Machado is retired. So 1 run on 2 hits, no errors, 1 left. Jonathan Schoop picking up the RBI. Schoop getting just his 2nd hit against Seattle this year. He's 2 for 14. Southwest. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. Beautiful day here in Seattle. Lots of people in town. 4th of July weekend, a big draw where folks come to Seattle. A lot of concerts going on, big fireworks display on Monday. But people come here to celebrate the 4th of July. Hope you have a good one. Kevin Gausman's got a 2-1 lead. Marte, number 9 in the order, Martin, and then Smith, switch hitter, who had a 1 for 3 in the ball game last night. Ketel Marte will go after the first one down the line, left field. Kim was shallow enough. That's in fair territory, says the third base umpire. 1 away. Catch everything all season long by following Masson Orioles on Twitter. Check out highlights of the game, go behind the scenes, enter to win exclusive prizes. That's Masson Orioles Twitter. Here is Martin. He popped out his first time up. One down. Machado in at third, and the pitch is taken for a strike. Mariners have won 4 of their last 6. They ended up 10-19 for the month of June. Got one going away from him, and he couldn't catch it.
Yeah, there are so many things that Kevin Gausman does well as a pitcher. You know, I mean, he doesn't walk people. He holds runners well. Pretty good fielder. So home runs can be a problem. So hit the ball the other way. Martin has power. We saw that in Baltimore. Home run off Tillman. If you give him a ball to pull.
Martin in the leadoff spot against the Orioles has a couple of home runs this year. He was 5 for 17. And again, away, and he fouls it away.
Well, when Jerry Dipoto changed his whole roster, they look for speed. You just saw Marte, the shortstop. Martin, you know, he could steal bases, stole what 40 bases for the Rangers like 3 years ago.
That one he got inside, and Schoop can't stop it. Almost hit it with a glove, but it rolls by, and Martin's going to get a single with one away.
Yeah, I think he thought if he wasn't going to catch it, which I think he thought he was, he probably would have maybe dove for it. Ball's hit pretty hard. They give him a top spin, so he thinks he's going to get the glove on it, which he gets a portion of it on, but it goes by him. Otherwise, you might have seen a sliding grab.
So that will bring up Seth Smith, as that one right off the end of the glove.
Yeah, this field's certainly not as quick as the one that the Orioles just came from in San Diego.
Be hard pressed on to field much faster than that, huh?
It'd be like playing on the freeway. That's how hard it was down there.
Each team now with 3 hits in the ball game. Smith, one of them, a home run, his 8th. Came in the first inning. 1 out. Breaking ball will miss down low. Smith, experienced veteran who's had a lot of postseason experience. 33 years old now. He has played in 18 postseason games, 4 different seasons, including the World Series Colorado in 2007.
Yeah, he was a home run guy up there. What, 16, 18 home runs a year?
15, 17, 15, 14 with Colorado. He's got 8 this year. One-0 delivery to him, and that's going to miss outside.
Yeah, and I've also seen him. I mean, a couple of years ago, he can drive the ball to left center, but they play him, especially in the infield, like he's going to pull it. So after the home run on a low inside fastball, they're trying to get him out with breaking balls. So there's your outfield. You can see Adam Jones, maybe a step over, so he can see the ball in the hitting zone in center.
Smith has had 12 home runs in each of the last 2 years. San Diego and here. 2-0 pitch on the way. Kevin Gausman outside. Kevin trying to find something that stays away from these left-handers. It's also worth going after.
Well, wouldn't you think, if you're Scott Service, that you understand you got a good fastball hitter in Smith, you got Cano and Cruz behind him, and you can see if you're a young pitcher and you're not commanding your off-speed stuff, you're going to get some fastballs to hit, because if you pitch around him, boy, it spells trouble.
3-0's the count. Martin on first base, taking all the way. Smith this season 27 walks and 41 strikeouts. Productive season though. The 8 home runs, 30 RBIs, hitting in that number 2 spot. Kevin Gausman looking to get that ground ball and turn a couple. A few more fly balls and balls hit up in the air for outs for Kevin this year. 3-1 delivery on the way, and that's there for a strike.
Yeah, he's again looking for something just a little farther inside, so that's what he got for the home run. And he goes, I have another shot till I have to swing. I would imagine he'd be running here.
Martin, because of his speed, Davis is on the bag.
Well, and then Wieters got to frame the pitch. Gausman's got to throw a strike. Good running situation.
3-2, runner not going, base hit into center field. Throw on the 3-2 single. Jones holds the runner at second. Martin Smith's 2 for 2 in the ball game, 2 on and 1 out.
Well, you get a huge break because they don't run. He's got 9 steals. You figure, again, all those other things factor in that you have to throw a strike. You have to take your time. Your Kevin Gausman, be deliberate, because if you walk him, then Cano comes to the plate. So they don't get the first and third by kind of going station to station.
So dangerous situation and a key moment in this ball game early. With 1 down, runners on at first and second, and Cano up. Cano grounded out his first time up.
And Gary, because they were able to have the shift on, he hits the same ball. It's into right field. Because now they're playing more conventional defense.
Cano goes after it, shattered bat, hit him in the batter's box, foul ball. And he'll go get some new lumber. He's hitting .270 with runners in scoring position this season. Always been a big problem for, well, not just Oriole pitchers, but he's really played well against the Orioles over the years, the Yankees in Seattle. Gausman's work cut out for him. Cano looking for another hit. He's gone 5 for 10 against the Oriole right-hander.
Well, he hit .331 with 4 home runs in June, but .377 here. Number even higher.
0-1 the count. Look back to second. Martin. And a little roller off the end of the bat out in front of the 87-mile-an-hour pitch, causing him to talk to himself.
The good split-fingered fastball will do that.
Belgian Cano's up among the leaders in a lot of the offensive categories starting the day in the league. 10th in average, tied for 5th in home runs. He is tied for 4th in RBIs.
Well, one more hit will have a nice little even 100.
0-2 count. Gausman's delivery to him, and he reaches to protect back into the screen. Probably away, but too good to let go by.
98 miles per hour. He just tries to keep the bat alive. You can see probably maybe a baseball off the outside corner, maybe, which is 2 inches plus.
Kevin Gausman with the 0-2 count. Martin and Smith table setters. 0-2 delivery on the way. The upper deck on yet another foul ball off the bat of Cano.
Well, he does spray the ball around. 25 hits to left, 40 up the middle, 34 to the pool field.
Home numbers we were talking about. He hit 182 in April here in this ballpark. He hit 283 in May and 377 in June. It's July 1.
Time for a double play ball.
0-2 pitch on the way. Cano reaches, and Gausman got him.
Now, nice pitching by the youngster. He just kept going away, and then how does he do it? He fouled away 98, but the splitter moves just enough lateral movement. It doesn't go down, but it runs away from him, and he chases. Big strikeout.
So 2 down, and here is Cruz. Cruz, the strikeout victim, his first time up. 3 strikeouts for Gausman in the game. Cruz's birthday numbers, he's hit in each of the last 6 years on his birthday. 9 for 24. Double, triple, 3 home runs, 9 RBIs in those 6 birthday games. 2 away. This is pretty good on non-birthday games too.
Yeah, I'm surprised this is only his 3rd at bat against Kevin Gausman.
Yeah.
Really faced him a whole lot.
Played behind him as an Oriole. 1-0 count. Orioles have a 2-1 lead. It'll be taken. The inside corner for a strike. Gausman keeping it down low. Good pitch. Birthday home runs came in 2015, 2014, in 2011 for Cruz. 1 ball, 1 strike count. Martin and Smith off second and first. Breaking ball, good one. Had him looking. Wieters liked it. Count goes to 2-1.
Yeah, trying to be careful with the breaking ball. I mean, it can be very effective, but you go back, in Boston, it was a hanging slider to Hanley Ramirez, 3-run home run. And then it was the hanging curveball to Chu down in Texas. Drove in a couple of runs. Gave up 4 runs in that game.
2-1 delivery. Cruz jammed again. Fights it off. Gosman's worked him pretty well here, and Cruz felt that one. Got a piece of him on the way to foul territory.
It's hard to hit 96, 97 inside corner when you have a good running fastball. And now Matt Wieters out to take a look. Let's see what you're talking about. Yeah, got the outside of his left foot. Matt out to have a little conversation. What do we want to do?
Even though Seattle won at 5-3 last night, they went only 1 for 10 with runners in scoring position. They're 10th in the American League as a team. The opportunity here is in the third. 2 ball, 2 strike count. Gosman gets him as he went up. So Gosman, a strong finish to the third inning. He strikes out both Cano and Cruz with 2 on, and that protects the Orioles' 1-run lead. RAV4 hybrid, all-wheel drive, and unexpected performance. Visit buyatoyota.com. With Jim Palmer, I'm Gary Thorne. We've completed 3, 2-3-0 for the Orioles, 1-4-0 for Seattle. Smith got a home run first inning. Seattle is 8th, 1-0. Orioles tied it. Davis, his 20th home run in the second, took the lead on a Scope RBI single in the third. Rickard scored, having a 1-out double to start it. And here's Chris. Davis will lead it off, as he did in that second inning when he blasted number 20. Trumbo and Wieters to follow. LeBlanc, the left-hander, will catch the outside corner with it for a strike.
Yeah, LeBlanc early in the count before the home run just missed down and in, and Chris took a very close pitch and then got one to hit.
They gonna miss on one down low. Todd Frazier's tied Mark Trumbo for the lead coming into today's play at 23 in the home run department. With a home run by Chris, he's now tied for third with Nelson Cruz. 0-2 delivery on the way, a little bit low, maybe outside. 1 ball, 2 strike count. LeBlanc, 21 wins, 33 losses over his major league career. With all of those ball clubs we talked about earlier, 6 of them. He's pitched with San Diego, Miami, Houston, the Angels, Yankees, and now Seattle. 2 ball, 2 strike count. 73rd career start. Lefty's 2-2 delivery is there. Chris knew it. 4 strikeouts.
Yeah, again, it's all about maybe getting a hitter looking for something else. Hit the home run on the fastball. Yeah, I think he thinks it's outside. I mean, I just look at Ietta's glove. He just dragged it back. Usually you don't have to move if it's over the plate, but they get away with it.
That'll be 1 down here in the 4th. Mark Trumbo line out to left field. His first time up.
Yeah, 1 pitch, just missed it.
And we'll take that pitch for a strike. Five-game hit streak for Mark. 0-1 delivery, went up the ladder. Burying the streak, 8 hits, 24 at bats. Around a .340 average. And he has had 2 home runs over that 5-game streak. 0-2 count with 1 down. LeBlanc's pitch will come right back to him off the end of the bat. 2 away. On Sunday, July 10, don't miss a great way to celebrate one of the Orioles' brightest stars. All fans of the 135 game against the Angels are going to get that Adam Jones Jumbo baseball card presented by Topps. And after the game, the kids 14 and under get to run the bases as they do after every Sunday home game. So you can get your tickets at Orioles.com or 888-848-BIRD. Matt Wieters called out on strikes. His first time up. On the season now, Seattle's won 3 out of the 4 these teams have played. If you put the numbers up there tonight in, they have outscored the Orioles 25-11. Scott Service's ball club also out-homered the Orioles 7-4 on the year.
Yeah, the Orioles averaging 2.5 runs a game.
2-0 count. And that'll be fouled back upstairs. Orioles came in hitting only 189 in the 4 games against Seattle.
Well, only Cleveland in the American League with better pitching. And that certainly has helped them on their 14-game winning streak.
2 ball, 1 strike delivery on the way. That'll go to third. Right to Seager. That'll be a 1-2-3 inning. We go to the bottom half of the 4th. Seager, who caught it, will pick up a bat and lead it off. High-value dental and vision benefits to area employers and individuals. Smile, it's Friday. And a nice smile. Safeco Field in Seattle. This is the second, of course, of 4 games for the Orioles. We'll be back with you. Another night game tomorrow. Tyler Wilson against James Paxton. 9:30. O's Extra. 10 o'clock for the ball game on Masson. And it'll be a day game on Sunday. And then the Orioles will be heading. There's Tyler.
Yeah, then Paxton, a left-hander.
Orioles will be heading to the Dodgers.
Dodger world.
A lot of left-handers, Buck noting before the ball game against the Orioles. Games in June, 1/3 of the games had left-handed starters, but the Orioles are putting numbers up against them, unlike last year. Orioles are 13-8 against left-handed starters. That's the second best win percentage against lefties in the American League. Gausman, the righty, looking for a victory. We go to the bottom half of the 4th inning. Seager, a strikeout victim his first time up. Lee and then Lynn. Breaking ball. He is going to miss to Seager. Seager's got a 3-game hit streak coming in.
Yeah, consistent. 5 home runs April, 5 home runs May, 5 home runs in June.
1-1 delivery to him.
You do that over 6 months, you hit close to 30 home runs, which is why they gave him a $100 million long-term deal a couple of years ago.
Doesn't match Bobby Bonilla, though.
No, who does?
Bobby's payday, July 1.
Till
$1.9 million each year on July 1 through 2035.
Really?
Yep. Pitch will be taken inside.
Yeah, deferred money, right?
They wanted to get rid of him, so they entered a deferred deal. And you know what they're paying him for interest? 8%.
Yeah.
Which probably at the time was low. Right now, try and find 8% on your money. That ball put up in the air to left field. Not as deep as Kim originally thought, but he's got time to get there. Seager is retired. Our PNC minor league report. PNC for the Achiever.
Yeah, so the Orioles got to feel pretty good about this. You know, Chance Sisco, look at that average. And then Rosa, another infielder. You got a couple. You're always looking for lefties. Aquino, a starter. And then you can see Donnie Hart out of the bullpen. So congratulations.
Great work.
Yeah, I was looking down there to see if they had any guys that have pitched pretty well at AA, AAA. Mike Wright, 2 starts, 1 run. That's a good sign. But you look, Keno probably had the best numbers at AA Bowie. Not a lot of prospects, or not a lot of guys had the outstanding years. It's just. Yeah.
Lee fouls it off.
So Bonilla, they wanted to get rid of him. Boy, you know anybody that wants to get rid of me?
I'm looking. I'm
people.
here. You want to get rid of me? Let's do a deal. Come on down. I'm ready and waiting. 1-1 delivery is swung out and missed. 1-2.
Bobby Bowe.
Probably the most incredible deal in the history of baseball. 1-2 pitch on the way. Gausman got it in the air, first base side. A lot of room. Chris over, not enough. And it'll bounce away. It would be hard if the Orioles had their closer, Darren O'Day, here to know exactly. You'd have to look to see what was going on when the fans started going Day-o, because it's the same thing they do for Day-ho Lee, which is what they do for the Orioles, Darren O'Day. And that's going to be a fair ball into the corner. It'll sneak down the line, and going into second base with a double is Lee.
Well, you know, you're always kind of wondering. And I mean, I'm looking at Kevin Gausman. He's going, I don't know why I just threw my straight changeup. And it's 80, and it's up, and you're playing off the line. This is what we were talking about. You don't play the line because you figure a guy throwing 93 to 99, but it's just, I mean, it's just a changeup. It's almost like a BP fastball. So the routine grounder, because nobody's playing there, becomes a double. And in a 2-1 game, that's sometimes the difference between winning and losing. Got to pitch to your defense.
So Lee's had an active involvement in the first 2 games. He's doubled and singled in this one. He had 2 RBIs in the game last night without a hit, one on the fielder's choice, one on a 5-4-3 putout, but he did have a hit last night. So now runner at second base. And here's Lynn, who flied to left field his first time up. That's going to go to left field again. And right at him. Kim's got it. Looks the runner back. Lynn retired on a pitch, and there are 2 down.
Yeah, kind of like that pitching. We used to pitch to your defense. First pitch fastball, trust it, make a good pitch. Even if he hits it hard, you're playing that way. So 1 pitch, 1 out.
Going to be a busy night apparently for Kim in left field. He's had 4 putouts and 3 hits have gone that way. So Kim getting a workout early in the ball game in left for the Orioles.
And you got Iannetta coming up. He lined out, hit it hard, fastball up in the zone. So you got to remember that. Try to stay out of the happy zone.
Now 2 down. Runner at second base. Bear in mind that runner is not fleet of foot. Even taking off on contact with 2 away, if there should be a hit in the outfield.
Well, you got Jones, who throws well, as the Wayne Kirby kind of gets the outfield, and they give him the left field line. You can see him shift it around. Rickard throws well and right, so it might be a foot race.
Wieters is going to go out. Seattle 0 for 3 in these situations tonight. Runner on at second. Lee has been there long enough. They want to make sure, if that's the question, that they got the signals right on what the sign, which sign's being used.
And once again, they've done a nice job of getting the pitch count up. This will be the 75th pitch. And Kevin Gausman has not been wild. They just foul a lot of pitches off.
Iannetta looking for a base hit to perhaps tie this ball game up. 1-0 delivery by Gausman. Iannetta will pop it up off the fist. Wieters won't get any help over there. Reaches in and actually did get help and said thank you.
Yeah, just could not get to the fence. So I mean, this is Till out. He takes 1 look to kind of get a feel where he is, and then he's going to try to catch it. And almost does. And they do keep him from going over the rail. Nice gesture. Like Tim Bogart, their bench coach. Gets out of the way, and then once the ball goes out of the glove, okay, now I'll help you.
And he said thank you as he turned away. He did. So the count is 1 ball, 1 strike with 2 down. Iannetta trying to barrel one up here. 2:09, runners in scoring position for him. And Gausman's pitch will be up high. So a 2 ball, 1 strike count.
Boy, such a typical game. You don't get a lot of runs. Every one, like hitting the mother lode, trying to maintain the lead. Sometimes get yourself through the 6th inning with a lead. Doesn't happen too often on the road for Kevin.
2-1 delivery on the way.
Perfect.
Got it on the outside corner with it.
You know, Gary, one of the things he's done, the adjustment he's made, he's moved to the middle of the pitching rubber. I mean, so again, it's a lot easier to get right there when you're kind of maybe right center. You get way over on the right side where he was. Boy, it's a long way. Tillman, I look at Chris and I go, just an inch or 2, just to give you a little better angle. I think Kevin who is very, very inquisitive. He's helped himself in that respect.
2-2 delivery on the way and a check swing foul ball. We've talked about the runs scored for Kevin. They are 3.3 per game. That is the 7th lowest in the American League. And here we've got a 2-1 ball game in the bottom of the 4th inning.
Yeah, but you talked about on the road, it goes to 2.35. And that's why he has not won in 19 starts.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Iannetta, who flied to right his first time up. A couple of hits in the game last night. 2-2 delivery on the way, and Iannetta up the middle. It's going to be a base hit. Now here's the play. They'll hold him up. Adam came up. He was fairly shallow. And because Lee has no speed, there was no way they were going to send him, and Maniacta held him up.
Yeah, slowly hit ball in the sense it takes a long time to get to the outfield. Heavier grass. So right back up the middle, and then here comes Adam Jones. I thought they were going to send him, but they don't.
A wise play by Maniacta, I think. He is so slow. I mean, He barely got to third base when Adam picked the ball up.
Well, the Benji Molina. I mean, I really thought they were going to send him only because they would have forced Adam Jones to make a perfect throw. But I guess they like the idea of Marte coming to the plate.
So 2 down. They don't get the run in on the base hit. And Marte's got to get another one. He's hitting only 191 in these situations. Manny Machado even with the bag at third. Marte will take the pitch inside for a ball. He flied to left his first time up. There's the defense in a couple of steps, more than a couple, in center and left. Kim and Jones have both moved in. Adam maybe as many as a half dozen steps in center. Del Marte. 1-0 delivery to him. Chasing one. Really falling off the table down and away. 1-1.
Yeah, good splitter. The double by Lee was just the normal changeup he throws. You throw that every once in a while. And that's the one that he splits the fingers on and has the tumbling effect.
One ball, one strike. Marte got one. Donovan Scopes got it. And that will do it. Good job by Gausman again, working through a problem as he did in the third inning. Couple of hits, 2 left on. Orioles still lead it 2-1. The heat is on the Sox to convince not only an apprehensive fan base but also their president of baseball operations, Dave Dombrowski, that this is a season worth investing in and that they're closer to the team we saw in April and May than the one in June. The Sox need reinforcements in the rotation and on the bench in order to reach October.
Yeah, the problem with the Red Sox, and it could be a problem for any team, they scored the 6.5 runs in the month of June and really pitched well, a little over 4 runs. Then the offense dropped to a little bit under 5 runs, and the ERA was higher. That just doesn't work.
Nope. A lot of discussion going on with a lot of teams, of course, as to are you going to be a buyer or a seller? As July, the end of July, is that trading deadline we talk about where you don't have to put players through waivers to do it.
Well, you already saw the Dodgers get Bud Norris, who pitched for the Orioles. He's got a 1-0 lead in the 5th. Rodney went to the Marlins, who were in the race in the National League East.
Don Mattingly in Florida, they're looking. They think they're going to make a run at it, so they're looking to bolster their pitching. Ripped foul. J.J. Hardy. Hardy flied to center field his first time up. Red Sox playing the Angels in Boston, 5-4, 7th inning. The Red Sox have the lead in that ball game. They had the day off yesterday, starting 5 games behind the Orioles. 2 ball, 2 strike pitch. Back the other way. No play on this one either. So Hardy, the count stays at 2-2. LeBlanc with the 60 pitches thrown. He has walked nobody, struck out 4. Second start of the year at the major league level. Set up away, 2-2 delivery. Pitch was in, but it'll go to right. Cruz in place. Puts that one away. Here's our PNC Inside the Numbers.
Yeah, there you go. This is what you kind of alluded to. Of course, Seattle, a good team. You know, they lost, what, 3 of their starters, so they didn't pitch well in the month of June, and went 10-18 after they were a half game out going into June. So against the Orioles, they pitch well. They have a good hitting team.
Those are big differentials against Scott Service's team.
You're kind of happy there in the West. Play him 7 times.
Kim will take the pitch up high. He grounded out his first time up. LeBlanc's 1-0 delivery will be grounded to second base. Cano. 2 down. On Saturday, July 23, the first 20,000 fans 15 and over, 7:05 game against Cleveland, will get the Orioles batting practice cap. Replica cap featuring the cartoon bird on a black cap worn this year for the first time by the O's during BP. You can get your tickets at Orioles.com or 888-848-BIRD. 2 down, nobody on. Joey Rickert double and scored in the 3rd inning. Homered by Davis, RBI single by Scope for the Orioles. That's on the inside corner for a strike. Rickert hitting .297 against the lefties, coming in .243 off right-handers. Breaking ball will stay outside and low, 1-1.
Yeah, 2-to-1 strike the ball ratio for LeBlanc.
1-1 delivery away. Looking at the countdown sign out there in right center field. It's countdown to Cooperstown. 23 days left for Junior. He's going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame this year. Ken Griffey Jr. along with Mike Piazza. There's the countdown sign. Talking with some of the front office people there today. They're going to have a lot of folks going. Griffey himself is going to have 150 to 200 people, and they're going to have probably 100, 150 going from just the baseball organization to Cooperstown. 3-1 delivery on the way and missed outside to him, and he'll get a walk. That's the first walk of the game.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, he is the first M to go into the Hall of Fame.
Yes.
Deservedly so.
So the Orioles extend the inning with a free pass, and that'll bring Adam Jones. Adam has lined out and flied out. See if the Orioles can take advantage of the walk.
Yeah, you're not going to steal on him because he's got a pretty good move, but getting Joey Rickert to first base, if you do happen to hit one up the gap, you shouldn't have any problem scoring.
That's what Adam would like to do right here. Adam with the 11-game hit streak. Tied for 5th in streaks at the start of the day. Corey Seager with the Dodgers at 13, number 1. Adams tied with a number of players at 11. Manu Machado's got a 10-game streak going. Just a lob toss over.
Well, the Orioles do not, as a team, run. 12 out of 20. And Rickert leads the pack with 4. He's the only guy on this team with more than 1.
Not a part of their game.
Well, you don't want to give away outs if you don't have guys that can steal bases.
He's very close to the bag. Adam Jones will take the pitch up high. 1-0 count on Adam. Adam has struggled against his former franchise this year. With the 0 for 2 in this game, he's had only 1 hit and 17 at bats against Seattle on the season. 1-0 pitch. Well, they want him to chase up high, and that time they got him to go.
Well, they know he's aggressive swinger, and they know he's had a great June with 11 home runs, well over 300. And he doesn't like that because he knows he just swung at a ball. And it gets LeBlanc back into the count. Take that pitch, it's 2-0. Get more on your terms.
230 off lefties this year, 261 off lefties last year. Way up and away. A look down to first by Iannetta, but no throw. And that will take Iannetta out with a 2-ball, 1-strike count on Jones. Well, Adams certainly had a spectacular June for the Orioles with that .314 batting average, 11 home runs.
And all coincide with really moving, getting healthy, which is probably the most important thing, and then moving into the number in the leadoff spot.
Likes it there.
Well, the other thing, and I've said this a couple of times, it got Joey Rickard, who's a Rule 5 guy with limited experience, out of the leadoff spot. So he could be more relaxed. He can hit second or eighth or ninth, whatever the case may be.
2-1 delivery to Adam. Good pitch. Outside corner down. 2-ball, 2-strike count on Jones. Adams still has a .269 lifetime average against Seattle. He's had 5 home runs against them. He has hit 6 here in this ballpark, as he had an opportunity to get 1 in the Seattle uniform. Rickard with a walk on at first base, 2-2. He froze at him on that one. Gets him on the strikeout. That's 5 Ks for the left-hander. Orioles leave 1. They lead it 2-1. Fourth game, first of 3. Dodgers are 14-3 in their last 17 at home. They've got a 6-game home winning streak. Bud Norris pitching in Kershaw's spot tonight. That's the 10th different starting pitcher for the Dodgers this year. He probably is going to face the Orioles next week. And the starters on the DL, how about that for a rotation? Kershaw, McCarthy, Anderson, Wood, and Young Jin Ryu. That would not be a bad starting 5.
Bud Norris has pitched 5 1/3 innings, 2 hits, no runs, 1 walk, and 8 strikeouts.
Well, if you pitch for Clayton Kershaw, you got to put up Kershaw numbers.
He's
right?
wearing 22.5.
There you go. What was that? Leonys Martin trying to do a butcher boy, just barely stayed in the batter's box, taking a swing at that one.
Just, kind of like a drag bunt. Try to hit it to the right side, which he could do. A splitter way out in front of it.
Martin will go after that one and foul it back over the screen. And the 0-2 count. Had a base hit last time up, 1 for 2 in the game, 2 for 7 in the series. Kevin Gausman, no walks, 4 strikeouts. 0-2 delivery, and he went up high and got him with heat at 96.
Perfect pitching. Get ahead, finish him off out of the zone. You got this kind of arm, certainly the capabilities of doing that.
5 strikeouts. Seth Smith, a single and a homer. Came in having faced Gausman only 3 times, 0 for 3, 2 for 2 in this one, though.
Now Kevin strikes out 8.21 hitters per 9 innings. Strikeout's not a problem, only walks a little bit over 2.
He'll get a strike on the inside corner.
He doesn't want it there. Both hits, the home run down and in, fastball up kind of middle of the plate to center. 3-2 pitch.
Home run last night, home run tonight. 0-1 delivery to him. He too going after one up high.
Got to read the bat. I mean, Gary, pitching is about reading the bats. So when you're out there between Matt Wieters and Kevin Gausman, where's the bat hit? You know, he didn't have any problem getting to it down in the zone. Up at 97 with movement. Pretty tough to hit.
0-2 pitch by Gausman, and he goes right up after him again and away.
Wow. Just another high rider. Try to hit it. Good movement. Starts on the plate, runs off.
So 2 strikeouts in the inning, 6 in the ball game. Robinson Cano will take his time coming up to give his pitcher a chance to rest a bit more. He has struck out and grounded out. There are 2 down, nobody on. 2-3-0 for the Orioles. 1-6-0 for Seattle. Seattle's left 5 on base. The Orioles have left 2. Gausman's worked out of jams in the 3rd and 4th innings. Trying to avoid that here. The clean inning, if he can get it, it would be his first. Cano will follow back.
Yeah, trying to get on something and maybe get his 20th home run of the season.
One ball, 1 strike count. In the air, left field. Kim coming in. He's got it. So a 1-2-3 inning, and it took only 9 pitches for Gausman to retire the side in order. Take a look at our Honda do-ups. Scope, Machado, and Davis when we come back. On Masson is brought to you by PNC Bank for the achiever in you, and by visitannapolis.org. Create your moment at visitannapolis.org. Roof open here, and you see very little breeze. The Orioles have a 2-1 lead, tight ball game with Gausman and LeBlanc, the 2 starters, going at one another. Jonathan Schoop leads it off. RBI base hit, third inning, 1 for 2 in the ball game. Another West Coast game tonight. Yankees have started their West Coast trip. Padres lead them 4-1 in the third inning of that game. It's a 10-game road trip into the All-Star break. They've got the White Sox and Cleveland after the Padres. Yankees on the road this year are 16-21. 1 ball, 1 strike count on Schoop. One will skip off the plate. Another birthday that we were talking about, Montgomery, warming up in the bullpen. 2 ball, 1 strike count. Second start for LeBlanc. 6 innings against the Cardinals. 2-1 pitch on the way. Broken bat, high hopper. Seager hits it. 1 down, 6th inning. On Monday, the Orioles will join all of Major League Baseball wearing special patriotic-themed jerseys and caps for the 4th of July. You can join the celebration by visiting Orioles.com/auction. You can start right now bidding on these unique items, and after the game on Monday, each jersey and cap is going to be autographed and authenticated, and it will benefit the USO of Metropolitan Washington, Baltimore. Again, that's Orioles.com/auction. Manny Machado 0 for 2 in the ball game. He's been called out on strikes and has grounded out.
Yeah, a little trouble with the changeup. It seems like slower and slower.
Oh, 1 delivery to him.
There's another one.
Good one, 78.
Yeah, if you don't pick it up, if you can't discern between the fastball, arm speed, and the changeup, it is a tough pitch to hit.
0-2 count, 1 down. LeBlanc is going to take a moment. Welcome those of you who have been watching the Nationals game. 3-2 win over the Reds. 14-inning ball game. Hit hard by Manny Machado at short. Marte will make the play. 2 down here in the 6th inning. Orioles have the 2-1 lead. Seth Smith got the home run solo shot first inning off Kevin Gausman. Chris Davis tied it up. Solo home run, his 20th of the year in the second. Rickard, the double, and a run scored on an RBI single by Schoop in the third. It's been a pitching duel. LeBlanc, the left-hander, second start at the majors this year, a walk, 5 strikeouts, and has given up 2 runs on just 3 hits. And for Gausman, he's walked nobody, struck out 6. A run on 6 hits. In the air to left, Chris Davis. Smith. 1, 2, 3 innings. So LeBlanc has a good one. We'll go to the bottom half of the 6th there in Seattle with the Orioles up by 1. Game 3 of this 4-game set. Tyler Wilson on the mound against James Paxton. Coverage on MASN 930 O's Extra presented by Jeep. Game at 10. All the access you need right here on Masson.
Tyler Wilson trying to go even up the record, 5-5. Did get a loss against the Mariners when they were in Baltimore, and then Paxton. Some injuries early on. Lefty. A couple of young pitchers. There is Tyler Wilson.
So Kevin Gausman working with this 1-run lead. Seattle's had more chances to score. Kevin Gausman shut them down, leaving 2 on in both the 3rd and 4th innings and using only 9 pitches in the 5th. Cruz, a strikeout victim twice. Will take the pitch down low for a ball. Cruz, Seager, and Lee.
Yeah, he's been able to stay in on him and then go up in the zone once he got the 2 strikes. If you remember, or if you watch Cruz play since he's been in Baltimore, loves the ball out over the plate. Tremendous power. Right center, left center, straight away.
Ahead on the count, 2-0, an ever dangerous pitch to Nelson Cruz. And he'll miss inside with it.
Yeah, again, he's only thrown about 3 or 4 breaking balls in that count, Gary. It kind of, at least they felt that was a pitch they were going to try to trick him with. But now he's probably swinging 3-0.
Cruz goes after it, drives it in the air, right center field. That ball will take a hop at the base of the wall. On his way to second, Cruz has got a double. He was hitting on the 3-0. And again, Seattle gets a potential tying run down to second base.
Yeah, I mean, why not? Scott Service, he's been around the game, never managed till this year, but he was a former catcher. He knows you got a guy that can drive the ball. As we said, great power the other way. And he doesn't miss it. He's looking for it. And then if you're Kevin Gausman, you got to take it a little bit off to throw a strike.
So Cruz is on with a 2-bagger, his 15th double of the year. Orioles bullpen will start to loosen up. Despaigne in the pen. And the chance goes to Seager. Seager has been called out, struck out swinging rather, and has flied out. Runner at second, nobody out, and Seager will foul it back.
Yeah, you would imagine his approach is to maybe get a ball to the right side, but on the other hand, Lee is on deck.
1 for 5 runners in scoring position tonight for Seattle. There is Daho Lee. He's already had 2 hits tonight.
So maybe they will just try to get him to third, if not in.
Seager's first chance to pick up an RBI. 0-1 pitch. Manny Machado will give chase. And that'll be 3 or 4 rows back out of play.
Yeah, guy's been covering third base just in case he did catch it. Quickly.
Seager against the Orioles, 4 for 12. Has picked up a home run against the O's this year and 4 RBIs. He's done some damage to Oriole pitching. 0-2 count on Seager. Outfield straight up. Defense shaded a bit, playing him to pull. Oh, 2 delivery by Gausman. He tears it right field. Way back. Goodbye. Home run. Kyle Seager. 2 RBI homer. Seattle leads by 1.
So 5 a month, and he starts off July with his 16th. 0-2 pitch. Just doesn't get it in. It's up. And again, when you powder rivered your way, I mean, he's really gotten a lot of outs on high fastballs. Looked like he was looking for it. It's a heartbreaker for Kevin Gausman. Not a cheapie.
16 home runs, 52 RBIs for Seager. On their 8th hit, they take the lead. Second time they've had it. They had it in the first inning, and now they've got it in the 6th. 2 home runs tonight off Gausman, Smith, and Seager, and all 3 runs off the 2 homers. 1-0 delivery fouled into the screen. Lee has had a double and a single. So the Seattle team up to 116 home runs on the year. They, like the Orioles, they're using the long ball to score runs. That one chopped towards second base. Big hop. Scope. Lee is retired. One down here in the 6th inning.
Well, isn't it an amazing game? You get behind Cruz. They let him hit 3-0. He hits a double. You get ahead of Seager. He's obviously, you think maybe he's protecting, trying to pull a ball, and he clubs one into the upper deck. And we're going to get to see his little brother, or his younger brother, but taller brother. You know, every year Seager's played, his home run total's gone up. We wondered if maybe this will be the first time he hits 30.
He's got a real shot the way he's swinging the bat. Here's Adam Lind, also with power. Lind has flied out to left field twice. One down, 6th inning. Lind 3 for 8 off Gausman lifetime. Foul that one straight back. Wanted it, missed it. Couldn't barrel it up. 0-2. Long ball against Kevin Gausman. It's because of the tight ball games that he's usually pitching. They have an extra added hurt. He's given up 3 home runs in a couple of games this year. He's given up 2 in this one. Lind was going for a third right there. He's gone on the strikeout. 7 Ks for Kevin Gausman.
Yeah, nice little fastball right there. And one thing about Kevin Gausman, we've seen him. He did it. He had a 3-1 lead in Minneapolis, threw a home run. The Plouffe 2-run home run to tie the game, and got right out of the inning. Again, it's one of those another tough game for him, where really tonight three pitches.
Yep.
The home run to Smith, the 3-0 pitch to Cruz, and then the 0-2 pitch to Seager.
And with 2 down, he swings at a bouncer. Ionetta's had a base hit and he is flying out. That one took 1 hop out in front. As we've said, only Vladimir Guerrero is able to pick up base hits off balls that bounce in front of home plate. Vladdy would swing at everything and anything, and he more than often he'd hit it. Foul tipped, and a strike on that one. 0-2. Two down, nobody on, 2 runs in, shift on in the infield. That's going to go to left. Kim will put it away. So a double by Cruz and the home run by Seager, accounting for 2, and Seattle now has a 3-2 lead.
They pretty much did what they expected. A lot of change-ups. You can see the 32% pretty much. Again, this is only a second start. Fastball, spotted it. And again, pitches very well. Only the 1 walk, a lot of strikes. And again, now 12 innings in 2 starts. He's only given up 2 runs as the tall lefty Mike Montgomery comes on. He's pitched well, and not only has he pitched well, he's 2+ innings 12 times this year. And that's your Jiffy Lube pitching change, brought to you by Jiffy Lube, where participating stores now do brake services. Stop in and let Jiffy Lube inspect your brakes today.
So Montgomery, another reverse the numbers pitcher. Last season, right-handers 246, left-handers 303 against him. This year, 248, 155. He's reversed them back the other way.
Yeah, starter through the minor leagues, which is why he's able to pitch multiple innings.
27-year-old left-hander, and the pitch will be taken for his strike. Mark Trumbo. Trumbo has flied out, grounded out. Mike Montgomery out of Mission Hills, California, came in a trade with Tampa Bay for Erasmo Ramirez, 2015. AAA in Seattle last year. Swing and a miss. That one had some dip on it. 0-2.
Oh, he's got a lot of pitches, and again, he got traded in the Wade Davis trade, going down to Tampa Bay, and he was always one of these guys that was going to be one of their starters, and that's what he did in the minor leagues. But seems more adept, as you can look at that. And there's another good breaking ball. So,
boy,
you throw 97, and then you have a breaking ball that you can finish.
Well, Montgomery starts with a K.
In other words, get on top of it, it just doesn't stop breaking.
Trumbo retired 0 for 3. Matt Wieters has struck out and lined out. Montgomery, because of the starter's background, gets long relief. He's had 2+ innings 12 times this year. That one laced to left field. That's going to fall in for a base hit. Smith will play it off the wall. Wieters thinking 2, thinks better of it, and heads back to first base. Good place Smith to get it in a hurry.
Yeah, so we saw Lee couldn't score on a single. Matt looks what's a double. He runs hard. He just doesn't have a lot of speed. Rips it into the corner. Smith will get to it very quickly. He's running about as hard as he can. And so again, not a lot of hits from this side of the plate. Thought he had a double, but they hold him to a single.
So the Orioles with a potential tying run on. That's their 4th hit. Hardy's 0 for 2, flied to right and center. And the pitch will be taken down low. On the bases, beware when Montgomery's out there. You saw how he will bounce that pitch. He's had 3 wild pitches this season. So Iannetta will be called on to keep calling for the breaking ball and be able to stop it. 1-0 pitch, up and away. Espana has been up throwing for the Orioles. Brad Brock has joined him. 3-8-0 Seattle, 2-4-0 for the Orioles. Big bouncer, going to get the lead runner. Cano throws it, but didn't really mean it. He just wanted to make sure he didn't throw it away, and just in case runner falls down or something, the ball's there.
Yeah, not a lot of urgency except for Seager, because he wants the lead runner, and they get Wieters going into second. Lee takes a look at the umpire just in case.
Every slide at second gets a look. 2 down, fielder's choice, Hardy on. Kim has grounded to second base twice in the game. And the pitch taken inside for a ball. Kim continues with a really outstanding numbers, hitting .339. Has not had enough at bats qualify for the leaderboards in the American League. If he did, he would be up there among the top 6 in hitting. He's just got to get some more at bats. There's Kevin Gausman hoping Orioles can get a run or 2. Little chopper. It's going to be a very tough play. In the dirt, they don't get it.
Yeah, he dropped it.
He dropped it at first base. Lee could not hang on. Probably had an out if he catches it, and didn't.
Yeah, Iannetta gets to it very quickly. You can see a great angle right here. Snap throw. Pulls it just enough. And got a big glove for a first baseman's mitt. Again, I mean, it's a little bit off, but it should have been caught.
That's usually where a first baseman saves errors. That's going to go as a hit. Nope, that's going to be an error. Okay.
Either way, you got the potential.
Well, that's a tough error. They call it on Iannetta on the throw. So first and second, 2 down. Here's Rickard. The Orioles, new life in the inning, kept alive with the error charged. Now looking for a 2-out base hit by Rickard. He has doubled and scored and drawn a walk.
And as you mentioned, really good numbers. Came in close to 300, 297 against lefties. Will Helmson, who he's been around. We saw him in Texas. Chose to become a free agent.
Rickard will go to right field with it. He will back up Cruz on the warning track. He's got room. No runs on a hit and error. 2 are left on base. 7th inning stretch time. 3-2.
Live casino inside the numbers for Kevin Gausman. He ends up striking out 7. He gets Cruz a couple of times. Good splitter. Cano on another splitter. Cruz down for the 2nd time. Martin can't catch up, and neither can Seth Smith. But again, a couple of home runs. Really 3 pitches. 8 hits, but 2 home runs. One by Seager, one by Smith. And Despaigne comes on here in the 7th inning.
Despaigne will make his first appearance ever against Seattle. Ketel Marte will take the pitch away. Marte has flied out, grounded out, top of the order. Martin and then Smith.
Yeah, he's pitched well for the Orioles. He's got a menagerie of pitches.
Ball put up in the air to right field. Rickard. Marte's retired, 1 down.
Yeah, so gets people out. He can throw higher into 95. He can drop down, give you a different look. Maybe a 3/4 breaking ball, drops down a little sidearm breaking ball, a little bit of a changeup.
Odor Sharma Despaigne out of Cuba, working with San Diego last year. Orioles going to him frequently now with O'Day out. He's become another one of the pitchers the Orioles are using here in the middle part of a ball game, or in this case here in the 7th. Diaz up for Seattle. Leadoff batter Martin, a base hit, is struck out and popped out. 2 ball, 2 strike count. A tight ball game. Manny Machado in on the grass at third. No bunt there. That pitch was up and he went after it. And a 1 ball, 2 strike count.
Comes out of Cuba like Louis Tiant. He gives you a little Tiante.
Yeah.
Turn.
Hide that ball. That's going to be down low, and a 2 ball, 2 strike count.
And that's not it's not easy to do when you swing your leg, because a lot of times it's like swinging a gate. Sometimes the gate doesn't always close or open the same way. But again, if you set yourself once, I mean, you get here and you set yourself right there.
2-2, and he gets him to go after it for a K.
He's been watching. Chidi and the bullpen boys ride the ball on Martin. Powers down, they go up, but he swings through it.
7 strikeouts, Gausman. Espana gets 1 here, and there are 2 down. Seth Smith, real damage. That home run in the first inning is 8th. Gave him a 1-0 lead. Has picked up a base hit, and he is struck out. 4 RBIs against the Orioles on the season. 1-0 count.
Well, the Mariners got to be very pleased what they got from Wade LeBlanc, because at the end of the day, the late Jim Elliott wrote for the Baltimore Sun, he said your job as a starter is to outpitch the guy that pitched against you.
Up the middle over to Spanier's head. Scope can't get it.
No, it's actually Hardy.
Yeah,
with a shift. Yeah. I mean, he hits a bullet. 3 hits tonight. The home run and a couple of singles to center. But Jim Elliott used to always say that's really what it's all about. And at least to this point, LeBlanc just by a run outpitches Gausman. See how good a low ball hitter he is. Ball down and away, and boy, right over the head of Despaigne.
9 hits for Seattle. 2 down, runner at first. Cano. 7-game hit streak maybe on the line here. He's 0 for 3. His flied out, struck out, grounded out. And fouled off, almost off the foot, just hit right in the batter's box and rolled away. Despaigne called up by the Orioles from Norfolk, June 14. He had put up some numbers and appearances they liked. He started against his debut, rather, came against Boston on the 15th.
Yeah, he got his innings in and he could start. I mean, if you look at the 1 loss, what is he, 1-6, but with a low ERA. A lot of times your 1 loss record not indicative. They like the fact that he, command his stuff, throws strikes, major league experience. Last year with San Diego.
That's a strike at the knees. And
he throws, 95 on occasion.
Orioles will need it. The return of Darren O'Day very much in question as to when it's going to be. Like Showalter saying he hadn't pitched since June 1. That high hamstring problem is really tough to get around. A couple of bullpen sessions he's tried, but it hurts.
Yeah, it's a very rare hamstring injury.
0-2 count on Cano. Davis holding the bag on Seth Smith. Spanier's 0-2 delivery grounded the other way. Manny Machado's got the hop. He'll go to first and get the out. That'll do it here in the 7th. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left on base, 1-run ball game. Seattle on top.
It's Seth Smith, second straight night home run, 1-0 lead. They get the early lead, 29-18 when they score first. And then the Orioles take a 2-1 lead. The 3-0 pitch by Cruz, and then the 0-2 pitch, 2-run shot by Kyle Seager to give the Mariners the 3-2 leads. That is your Geico highlights. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com for a free rate quote. Diaz, we saw him last night. Well, he's throwing 98-99 with a hard slider. He's done a great job for him. So again, a youngster, as Gary Thorne said last night, out of Double-A. So power arm. And Gary, I'm talking to Chris Iannetta, who does the catching. I said, I didn't know he had that kind of arm. He said, well, you should have seen his major league debut. 101, 102.
That's not bad.
A little amped up.
It's a little firepower right there.
And he throws the ball over. We'll see if that's the case tonight.
He made that debut against Cleveland on the 6th of June, working an inning. And now the Orioles in the 8th, down by 1.
Yeah, arms and leg with a great arm. And a little breaking ball to go with it. 6'3", listed at 165. Chaz Rowe just recently called up to the big club after pitching with the Orioles last year.
Swung on and missed, so that pitch down and away. Combine that with a heater, and he's trouble. He pitched Double-A Jackson 3-3 with a save, 2.21 ERA. He had 6 starts, 10 appearances out of the bullpen at Double-A ball. 0-2 delivery, and to get him to go after that one too. Iannetta's going to have to make a play here. Ooh, almost threw that away. Strikeout on Adam. Follow Orioles baseball live with MLB.com at Bat app. Stay up to the moment, any moment. Game day, live game video highlights, StatCast news, and more. Download MLB.com at Bat, #1 app. Baseball on your phone or tablet. And once you've downloaded it, do not, I repeat, do not update your phone. Because when you do, it'll be wiped out. As I found out today.
Yeah, you got the iOS.
People keep telling me that.
Yeah.
I don't know why I don't listen to them. Don't update your phone. All the people at the stores say, oh, you got to update, you got to update. Every time you update, it just wipes out half the stuff you got on there.
Yeah, but tonight you need to go home and update yourself.
I do. I do need to update myself. And I think it's going to be red. That is fouled off. Perhaps a fine charade. We'll get it done.
Well, that's kind of what I was talking about, actually.
Thank you. What are you going to do?
Gary Thorne needs an update.
That's right. He can
99.
deal.
Yeah, well, he can. And, well, you know, you talk about this good pitching stop, good hitting, and it does because the #1, the quality of the pitches is better. And, you know, again, I mean, this kid's a youngster, but it looks like he's got a pretty good idea.
1-2 off the fist. Cano's going to try and get it. No chance. So Jonathan Schoop delivers a Texas leaguer. He's on with a base hit. And again, the potential tying run is on for the Orioles. This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the Orioles may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Orioles. Here at Safeco Field, a good one. 3-9-1 the Mariners, 2-5-0 for the Orioles. The Orioles again with the potential tying run on. They left 2 on in the 7th inning. Diaz delivers the heat on the inside corner. Manny Machado 0 for 3.
Yeah, he's happy that LeBlanc and that changeup went on the bench or into the shower. As it gave him fits.
22-year-old, 1-0 count. And a swing and a miss.
You know, he just doesn't throw it. If you're throwing 98 and you hang 88-mile-per-hour changeup, it's going to go a long way. But, and again, it's only the second time we've seen him pitch here in this series. He hasn't done that yet. So again, the stuff, the quality of the pitches, the you know, the break on your slider's better. And now Brock, number 35, Dom Chidi, with the mustache Oriole bullpen coach looking on.
Runner off first. The pitch on the way and swung on and missed. I mean, 8 Manny up.
Yeah, he just don't see that pitch. And You know, this is what the good slider does. I mean, you're hitting off 99, 98, and then the slider just not only goes down, it just goes away from the bat head.
33,006, 33006, the attendance here tonight. Chris Davis coming up. Scope with a single on at first base. Davis, the home run second inning, his 20th. He has since struck out and flied out. Diaz looks, the delivery swung out and missed. Our Alexis Towson drive of the game.
Yeah, 2-strike pitch off LeBlanc, and it's going to tie it up. And home run number 20. You're right about Martinez. Looks like he kind of went to the left, couldn't get up the wall, and the Orioles at that point would tie the game up 1-1.
Davis fouls it back.
Well, there's 100.
Our drive of the game brought to you by Lexus of Towson, the area's #1 luxury dealer. Come see why at lexusofTowson.com.
He's going to dial it up to 1-0-0.
Oh, 2 count. He certainly doesn't stare in or act like a young pitcher. Here's the 0-2 delivery on the way, and the fastball's up high. And the count will go to 1-2. He's looking for the strikeout right here. Whatever he's got in that arm, you're going to see it unless he decides to try and fool him with that breaking ball or off speed pitch. 1-2 delivery, and he did at 88. So Diaz comes on and strikes the side out. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left. Seattle leads at 3-2. Take the second of this 4-game set, having won last night. Orioles will go a little deeper into the bullpen.
Yeah, Chaz Rowe back with the big league clubs. You're looking at last year's numbers, which were a lot better. I mean, you know, he had some arm problems, a lot of innings early on, did a nice job. Really good slider. He's come up with a cutter. And if you look at his minor league numbers, 2.39 ERA, 45 strikeouts, 33 games, 4 saves, 1-2 record. So feels like he can come up, help the club. And as you mentioned, Gary, that with Darren O'Day out with the hamstring, the high right hamstring pull, tear, whatever you want to call it, they are looking for help. And there's Cishek, who came in last night and got his 19th save.
Bottom of the 8th inning, Nelson Cruz will lead it off, celebrating his birthday. A double, a run scored in the 6th inning. Smith an RBI on the homer. Seager 2 RBIs on his 16th home run. And the breaking ball is in there for a strike. Chaz Rowe finished up with the Tides, 1-2, 2.39 ERA. You saw last 15 outings he did not give up a run. 15 2/3 innings, no runs, 2 walks and 15 strikeouts. And he gets Nelson Cruz to go after one away.
Yeah, early last year, until he had some arm fatigue, he is about as good a slider, good movement. Didn't always have to be low and away, just and then a good running fastball.
0-2 delivery. Another pitch, this one a little further outside.
Of course, I asked him because he was contemplating last year, maybe working on a third pitch, and it was going to be a changeup, but now went to the cutter, which he said helps him against the left-handed batters.
1-2 delivery, foul tip held on to, and he gets a strikeout.
Yeah, you established slider early in the count, then 93. I mean, he ends up throwing it right by him. Kind of funny. Cruz now been up 4 times, 3 strikeouts. You could see that fastball well located right on the corner. But again, one of the big hits of the night when they let him swing away 3-0 down 2-1 when he hits the double up the gap to get on for this guy.
Kyle Seager, the home run in the 6th inning for 2 RBIs, putting Seattle back up on top. Rowe choosing to stay with the Orioles. It's believed he had an opt-out in Norfolk at some point and didn't do it. Said I love the organization, I love the people here, wanted to come back, and here he is. That is in there for a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike count on Seager. Seager to be followed by Lee. Red Sox have won their ball game tonight. They beat the Angels 5-4. Knuckleballer Wright got the win, 4 runs, 8 hits over 5. They went deep into the bullpen to preserve the victory. He used Barnes, Tazawa, Uehara. Kimbrel got his 17th save. Ortiz had his 19th home run in that ball game in the victory over the Angels. Chacin took the loss. He's 3-7. He gave up 5 runs and 12 hits in 4 2/3 innings. 2 ball, 1 strike count. Breaking ball fooled him, and he jumped out onto his front foot there before the ball got there, but it missed. 3-1. Shift on against Seager. Pitch to him, and he's on. Let's take a look at our Miller moment. Miller time brought to you by Miller Lite.
Yeah, Gausman against Cruz, couple of strikeouts. They let him swing away 3-0, and there's your result. And right down, you're down 2-1. You're looking for base runners. Leads it off in the 6th inning, and then Seager would hit the 0-2 pitch to give him a 3-2 lead, which is where the game stands right now.
Dae-Ho Lee with a single double, and he is grounded out. Runner on at first base and 1 away. Rose delivery to him, breaking ball there for a strike. Gausman, pitcher of record, 3 runs, 8 hits over 6. He did not walk anybody, struck out 7. Despaigne worked an inning, a strikeout and a hit, and now Rowe for the Orioles. LeBlanc's got a chance to be the winner for the M's. Montgomery worked an inning, a hit and a strikeout. Diaz is still officially in the game, an inning with 3 strikeouts. 0-1 count, 1 down. Very short lead at first base. 0-1 delivery. Ooh-ah. 1-1. Here's the 1-1 delivery on the way, and that one in the air to left field. It's way back, and goodbye, home run. Above the scoreboard into the standing room only section. Lee with a 2-run homer.
Well, he's got to make him happy. You buzz one underneath his chin, and then you hang a slider. Chaz Rowe, at least last year, had a great breaking ball. Tonight, this one hangs after he ran a fastball underneath his chin. And you can see 11th home run of the year. Take a look. I mean, this is just a hit me slider. And I mean, this bat, he's going to throw it all the way almost to the dugout. That ball sails into the night here in Seattle.
So the home run, that's 3 of them tonight. 2 off Gausman, 1 off Rowe. They've accounted for all of the runs. And a 5-2 lead, 10th hit for Seattle. Clears the bases, 1 away. And the pitch is a strike. So Lane, the DH, 0 for 3, looking for his first hit of the series. He is 0 for 7. Then waiting on it. The Orioles pitching staff, the 4th fewest home runs surrendered in the American League coming into today's play. But the Seattle team now up to 117 home runs.
Well, they're a little bit similar to the Orioles in the respect that not a lot of team speed as far as stealing bases. They got Marti and Martin, but other than that, they hit home runs. Everybody told us, Gary, that the ball was traveling a little bit better here this year, and we're seeing it.
Yep. 1-2 delivery. Adam Lind, a swing and a miss. Rowe gets the second strikeout, 2 down.
There's a good breaking ball, and we saw it early in the count to Cruz. In the big leagues, and if you throw a lot of sliders, and they know that's the scouting report. So again, I'm not saying that Lee was looking for it, but he got one to hit, and it just makes it a lot easier to hit versus maybe a good running fastball.
So 2 down here in the bottom of the 8th. Chris Iannetta, base hit, 1 for 3 in the ball game. He's had a couple of hits, 7 at bats in the 2-game set. And a big blast here in the 8th inning, and those runs make it a 5-2 game. Still a save situation, down to 3rd and foul. And the Orioles have seen Seattle pitching coming to the fore. Walker last night, a run on 4 hits, 6 1/3. The starter, 2 runs, 3 hits. Left-handed LeBlanc in this one in 6 innings. Breaking ball will miss. Orioles got a couple of runs off Joaquin Benoit out of the bullpen last night. So far, nothing off the bullpen tonight. 1-2 delivery, and that will miss. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Infield shifted. 2 delivery, breaking ball away. So Rowe takes it full, 3 balls and 2 strikes. 2 down, nobody on. The walk, Seager got it. And the next batter, Lee, would deliver the home run. 3-2 pitch. And there's another one. These are the only 2 walks the Orioles have given up in the ball game, both here in the 8th inning by Rowe. So that'll keep the inning alive. And Marte coming up. Marte's 0 for 3 in this one, 1 for 6 in the first 2. With his speed, Manny Machado just on the grass at third base. And he will take the pitch for a strike.
Yeah, 23rd pitch, not how many you want to throw in an inning. Well, the ball is different, feels different. A couple of walks, but the big one, the hang and slide. That's 2 two-run home runs tonight that the Orioles pitching staff has thrown.
Michael Givens is getting up. I really don't want him to start throwing unless he has to here. 0-2 count, 2 down. Top of the order, Martin would be up. 0-2 delivery, almost got away. Wieters up to get it. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Runner off first. 1-2 delivery. Chopper. It's going to go to short. Force play there. Handled by Hardy, and that will do it. But a couple of runs in as Lee delivers a 2-run homer. We go to the ninth. 5-2 Seattle. And brought to you by Southwest. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. So back here at Safeco Field, O'Malley will come on to play in left field. Seth Smith out of the ball game.
And there's the closer, 19 out of 23. Last night threw 23 pitches. He got 4 outs for him as he came in the 8th inning. And 15 of those 23 pitches were sliders. Again, sinker baller, 91, 92, 78 mile per hour slider. Righties have trouble hitting him because he's pretty deceptive and it drops down. Done a nice job. Picked him up as a free agent after he was relieved of his closer duties last year in Miami and then traded to the Cardinals.
Cishek on. The Orioles need 3 to keep this ball game going. Trumbo, Wieters, and Hardy will be due up against him. Cishek 1 for 1 in saves this year against the Orioles. Same number he's had lifetime. 4th game he's ever pitched against the O's. And the delivery is taken away by Trumbo. Trumbo 0 for 3 in the ball game. The Orioles DH.
Yeah, his command was not great last night. Trumbo hit the first pitch into right field when he faced him. Got a fastball up in the middle of the plate.
Off his glove. And the little flip will get it done for the out. Visit MASNsports.com/CareFirst to vote for tonight's CareFirst Fearless Player of the Game. Live fearless with a name trusted for over 75 years. CareFirst Blue Cross Blue Shield. Chris with a home run for the Orioles tonight. RBI scope, 3rd inning, and the Orioles have not scored since the 3rd. 1 away in the 9th.
Well, 4 hits last night, 5 tonight to this point.
Wieters, he takes the pitch. Take a look at our Express Care stat. Express Care, a LifeBridge health partner. For locations, visit whywaitinther.com. Get 4, you win. You don't, you don't. In there for a strike, 1-1. Wade Lovelaw's got a chance to win this ball game. LeBlanc had not won a major league game, has not, since September of 2014. It will be foul back. His 2nd start this year. He has a 21-33 lifetime major league record. Pitched in Japan last year. Gave up just 2 runs on 3 hits, 6 innings in this ball game.
Well, they said he was a pitch maker, and that's exactly what he did.
1-2 delivery. Wieters gone.
Well, the Orioles, they know this team could pitch, and you're seeing it. You know, Diaz comes in throwing 100. LeBlanc changes speed. Cishek, he's deceptive. Balls running all over the place. And then last night, if you watched him, you know, he threw a lot of sliders and was effective with it.
2 down, Hardy. Mariners bullpen 5th in ERA coming into the ball game, and they've been worked harder with all the injuries to their starters. Cishek takes no time on the mound. He'll be inside 1-1. If they win it, they will have won their 4th of 5 against the Orioles this year. Pitch misses outside. Sweeper. 2-ball, 1-strike count.
Yeah, if he gets this, it'll be his 20th save. 8 of those have been 1-run saves, the most difficult. A little bit of breathing room tonight.
Already a chopper foul.
Yeah, last night the hits the Orioles did get, Machado and Trumbo, those pitches were up. Tonight he's at the knees. Chris Tillman, who started last night's game, had his 9-game winning streak ended.
Manny Machado, his hit streak of 10 ended. 2-2 delivery on the way, and Hardy takes it, and that's the ball game. Three up and 3 down in the 9th inning. Seattle comes away with a 5-2 win. For Kevin Gausman, he will take the loss. 1-6, and again the Orioles, who average 3.3 runs in games that Kevin starts, don't even reach that in this one. 5-2.